Hey, what's up, guys? I wanted to take a little bit of time today to talk about the awesome Father's Day present I just got last weekend from my lovely wife. Now, I should say that I maybe didn't get her the best Mother's Day gift. I guess I should have. I think I cleaned the house a little bit, and I made her a nice dinner, so I feel like I didn't do nothing, but I certainly didn't do enough to deserve what she got me. When I saw what it was, I couldn't believe it. Unwrapped it, and it is the SansAmp GT2 pedal by Tech21. Now, I've always wanted one of these things. For some reason, I've never gotten around to actually play with one for any kind of extended period of time. I've played through them a couple times and was impressed, but you know, honestly, this is a product that came out, I believe, in the early 90s, and since then, you know, so much has happened in the world of digital modeling that these pedals have kind of become an afterthought. And a lot of people are using either the Line 6 Pod or now the new Kempler modeling amps or any of the other really high quality modeling devices that are out there. And that's not even to mention software. You know, now I can plug my guitar directly into my DAW, into Live, and get pretty much any kind of guitar tone I want. And they're all pretty satisfying and fun to play with, and it's gotten a lot better. So I wasn't sure what to think about this. It was a completely off the wall pick from her, but I was really excited to play with it. So let's just run through it. It's by Tech21. It's made in New York City. The design quality is just really well done. It's very simple. Obviously you have your four knobs up here on the front going right to left. You get your input on the right side, and output on the left side. And you got a drive control, low, high, and a overall level control. Underneath you have 3 switches, each with 3 settings in it to dial in different sounds. You have a Tweed setting, which is basically like a Fender, like early bassman type sound is what I kind of equated to. But you can get some blackface type sounds on it as well, but it's a little grittier than a blackface. The British mode is supposed to emulate a Marshall, and it does a pretty awesome job of that. And then California mode is for like an early Mesa Boogie. The mod switch goes between 3 settings: clean, high gain, and hot wired. And that's just different. It basically shapes the amount of drive that you get and changes the tone a little bit as well. And then one of the coolest switches is the last one over here on the left, is the mic switch. And you can go between 3 different modes again: classic, center, and off axis. And you can get some really interesting tones by shaping this. The classic is supposed to be a kind of classic miking technique where you back the microphone off the cone of the speaker. You're going to get improved bass response and kind of a warmer tone altogether. The middle position, the center position, is kind of like an SM57 mic right up on the grill. So it's going to be really pronounced mid-range, really direct tone that's great for recording. You lose a little bit of high frequency and some low frequency as well, but it's a classic tone. And then off axis simulates a microphone being 45 degrees off axis. So if you're having trouble taming some of the highs, or you want to simulate, you know, in the old days, if you couldn't put a microphone right up on a cabinet, or you would overload the microphone even before you got to the preamp. So that's kind of emulating that tone. So again, the build quality is awesome. I don't know why they went with the plastic input and output jacks. That's kind of a bummer given the overall quality of the rest of the pedal. You can either power it by battery here on the back, or with a standard 9-volt center pin negative power supply. And then it's the toggle switch it's like one of those momentary feeling ones. It doesn't click, it's not a latching, but that's not a big deal to me, because this is a pedal that a lot of people will use this in an always on type of mode, basically becoming the preamp for your amplifier. Now, it's worth mentioning, people use this in a lot of different settings. The one that I'm classically aware of the pedal being used in is in a direct to a mixing board or directly into your computer mode. And that's what we're going to be trying this out with today, because I'm trying to replace... if I want to pick up guitar and I want to go straight into my computer, it's sometimes a hassle to load up a DAW, pick a preset, and then I can get kind of sidetracked picking different settings and that kind of stuff. So I've always wanted a pedal that I can just plug my guitar directly into it and get a pretty good, faithful recreation of a guitar amp sound going directly into my computer. So that's what we're going to try out today. Let's give it a shot and see how it sounds. All right, guys. So I have this set up so you can take a look and we can take a listen real quick. I have this in my little mobile pedal board, not to show off my fairly mediocre pedals, but really to show you that although the SansAmp shines really well on its own, when it's paired with some other pedals, you can make a really, really great guitar tone for recording in your own home studio. So going input to output, I have this Wampler Pinnacle drive, which I love. It's a great overdrive pedal with a bunch of different modes. The SansAmp Boss DD5 digital delay, and a Keeley Electronics Verbo trim, which is an awesome pedal, by the way. So we started with things off. Again, this is just my Fender. It's a Japanese reissue of a Paisley Telecaster. Clean tone. Right now, this is just going directly into the pedal board and then out into my DAW. Tried to set everything as flat as possible. Got it on the bridge pickup. So right now everything's off and you can hear pretty standard direct tone. So let's just switch the SansAmp on. I have it to match the output level and just have it everything in the classic mic mode, clean, mod, and the Tweed amp. So already you can hear there's a lot more snap to it. It feels a lot more alive. The highs are a little bit bright. Let's give it a little bit of low. Give it a little bit more oomph here. So you can hear it cleans up really nice too. If I really attack it, we'll CJ riff for you there. It can, you can get pretty dirty, but then if you play with a lighter touch or roll off the volume a little bit, so let's try one of these other mic modes. Let's put it in the center. Kind of sounds pretty good. Switch back to classic. Oh no. Here's the off axis. Let's go back to classic mode and try out the high gain in the Tweed. Ooh, he's spicy. really nice full-bodied sound there. I like that a lot. You could use that for any kind of rhythm plan. I will say that the whole thing has a pretty high... It goes from low gain to pretty high gain pretty quickly. And then once you're in the British and the California modes, obviously it's very high gain territory. So, you know, if anything, I'd like to see a little bit more clean options. But, you know, if you switch this back to the clean and you turn this drive down, give it a little bit more level. But again, hear the difference between SansAmp on, SansAmp off. Now that's just completely dead, lifeless. There's nothing to it. It sounds like a guitar played through an amp. And then if you put a little reverb on it. Ah. Let's try this hot wired. Get a lot more low end, you can tell. Pretty cool. I like it a lot. So, you know, again, that's a tone that you can use a lot. Back off that drive. All right, so enough of that. Let's try with, let's play around with some of these other modes here, these other amp modes. This is the British. Again, a Marshall tone. Let's try that direct 57 on there. Oh, yeah. You hear that, how those mid-range are immediately boosted. That's what you want to hear from, you know, kind of a Marshall stack sound. Got that real nice crispy attack to it, and I think that's really what sets this apart from a lot of other pedals that are like this. It's just got that real nice crispy attack. Also, the EQ controls are very, very responsive. Woo! It's a Telecaster, so not recommended. All right, let's see what happens when we go to the high gain here. A lot more compression to the sound, a lot more noise, as you can probably hear. You know, it's venturing into territories that I don't really play. I don't really play that much metal type sound, but you can get, you know, kind of a cool, almost Iron Maiden sound, or a, you know, early, you know, kind of that 70s Judas Priest type. Backing off the volume a bit. And I dare to think what this hot wired does. Oh, I'm gonna have to back that back down. Yeah, I mean, it's not my thing, but some people like that. So, let's try the California. This is, again, a Mesa Boogie type of sound. Now, I really like this classic Mesa Boogie sound. I think it's really adaptable and usable for not just kind of that, you know, metal-y stuff that Mesa is renowned for. So that's, I mean, you're getting into genty tones there, but all pretty useful. That's the thing, is that none of them are really over the top. Again, please forgive. Not really my thing. As you can see, it gets way out of hand. One last thing I wanted to show you guys before I go. Let's take it all the way back to the Tweed. We'll do the clean. And another thing I hope you can tell, at least on the cleaner settings, it's really low noise. Here's with my guitar all the way off. Probably hear my computer fan, but here's with my guitar all the way up. There's a hum. I also have some lights near me, but it's really not bad for an analog pedal. So anyway, last thing I wanted to show you is just how it interacts with this overdrive. I think in a really pleasing way. I think it does a really good job handling pedals. They recommend, Tech21 recommends putting any kind of modulation, delay, reverb, tremolo, phaser behind the pedal, and any kind of overdrive or wah compression in front of it. So it kind of works the way, you know, in a pedal setup, it works the way an overdrive pedal would work. You want to put your modulation afterwards and your overdrive before it. So yeah, that doesn't change whether you're going into an amp. And speaking of going into amps, they say when you are running into an amp, if you have an amp with a effects loop in it, you should be running into the insert on that, so that the preamp of the amp is not getting in the way. Now, I've never done that before. I don't have an amp here with an effects loop in it. I just have this Fender Deluxe. But I've run it directly into the regular amp input, and it sounds fantastic. Now, you got to play with it a little bit. It's really amp dependent. On my Deluxe, it's just way too trebly, so I have to roll back the treble on my amp. But you find a sweet spot, and it works really well, even in a non-direct input mode. So anyway, here's with this Pinnacle. The Pinnacle has two different modes. It has a regular drive mode with the blue light, or it has this cool boost function with the red light. So let's try it with that first. So this is the way that I use this SansAmp pedal in my recording setup now. Just since I've gotten the pedal, it's great. I just leave it on this pedal board like this. Anytime I want to, I can come in, plug in. I got my SansAmp already on. It's going to give me a great clean tone. If I want grit on it, I can do it. But I got my drive here so that if I need a boost for a solo, I can do that. I can get a crunchier sound, a way crunchier sound if I want to. And then I also have all these great options here if I want to fine tune that a little bit. I got my reverb to make it actually sound like a real guitar. So yeah, that's about it for me, guys. Hope you enjoyed this review of the SansAmp GT2. Thanks so much to the GT2 for being a great pedal. It's going to find a lot of use with me in my current setup. Playing down here with the baby upstairs is not really as feasible as it used to be, so this is going to be a really useful pedal. And of course, thank you for my lovely wife. Love you, baby. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. See you next time.